Good day, my name is Jessica Villabarona. I'm a student from PCPET and I'm going to be my intern for CBE Laws Professional Practice. Disclaimer, this video is only for educational purpose. Everything I say or I will say in the video does not intend for anyone. This is just a video project that I must pass my subject, which is the CBE Laws and Professional Practice. So yeah, again, I'm creating this video for my midterm. So I do have a script here, and along with the intended video, we were tasked to make so this is a midterm RA for 200, and we were tasked to create a video in 10 minutes that will answer the following question of the case. Application of RA for 00. The first question is, what is the case all about? The second, what are the facts of the case? Third, what are the issues of the case? Fourth, what is the ruling of the Supreme Court? And last question, what are your takeaways for learning from this case? So here's my script. So the case is about the case of Chavez Gonzalez fundamental about protecting freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of the press. It focuses on whether the government, through public warnings and press releases, can discourage or stop media from airing certain material. In this case, the material involved the highly controversial Hello Grass tapes, audio recordings, all alleged to contain a conversation between Presidential Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo and Commissioner Virgilio Garcia about manipulating the 2004 election results. What triggered the legal dispute was not the tapes themselves, but the government's reaction. The DOJ Secretary and the NBC warnings against airing, or even processing the tapes, threatening prosecution and possible cancellation of broadcast franchises. Because the statements came from officials with genuine legal authority, they created fear among media companies and general public. Thus, the core of the case is whether this government statement unconstitutional prior receiving a form of government censorship that attempts to suppress speech before it reaches the public. The case tests the boundaries of government power and the strength of constitutional protection for free expression. So the second question is, what are the facts of the case? To understand the case fully, we must look at the political climate at time that time. After the 2004 elections, suspicions of electoral fraud emerged when recording surveys allegedly capturing President Arroyo speaking with Commissioner Garcia about ensuring her victory. These recordings spread quickly, and the public demanded answers. In response, Press Secretary Ignacio only released two versions of the tapes, one supposedly authentic and the other allegedly doctored. This fueled the controversy further. Then, the DOH Secretary Raul Gonzalez stepped in. He issued public warnings that anyone who broadcasted, reproduced, or even possessed the tape could be violating the anti-wiretapping law. He stated that the people could be arrested and prosecuted. These warnings were then played through interviews officials, not formal written orders. However, before they came from the highest prosecutorial officer of the country, they carried significant weight. Soon after, the NBC issued its own warning. It reminded broadcasters that their franchises could be suspended or cancelled if they aired the tapes, since the NBC regulates radio and television frequencies. This warning possessed a real threat to broadcasters' operations. These combined warnings create fear, what we call the chilling effect, in the media industry. Some media companies soften their reporting, others become hesitant to tackle the issue. This climate compelled Francisco I. Chavez, a lawyer and former Solicitor General, to file a petition before the Supreme Court. Supreme Court? No, sorry. Um, this climate compelled Francisco I. Chavez, a lawyer and former Solicitor General, to file a petition before the Supreme Court. He argued that the government's actions were unconstitutional and violated freedom of the press, the right to inform, and the public's right to know. So the number three question: what are the issues in the case? Those issues are: the cases raises several important constitutional issues, but they are all revolved around the central question of free speech. So the first issue: do the warnings of the DOJ Secretary and the NBC constitute prior restraint on freedom of speech and press freedom? Second issue: did the government satisfy the clear and present danger test, which is required when the government wants to restrict content-based speech? Third issue: is broadcast media entitled to the same constitutional protection as print media? The government tried to argue that because radio and TV use public airwaves, they can be regulated more frequently. Fourth issue, and the last issue, tackled, does the petitioner Francisco Chavez have the legal standing to file the case, given that he was not directly threatened? This needs to collectively determine how far the government can go in regulating media content, and how vigorously the courts will protect freedom of speech or of expression rather from governmental intimidation or censorship. So the fourth question: what is the ruling of the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court ruled in favor of Chavez and declared the government's warning unconstitutional. Prior restraint was clearly present. The court held that the warnings, although not written orders, effectively acted as form of prior restraint. The officials who made the statement had actual power. The DOJ could prosecute, and the NBC could suspend broadcast license. Their words alone could influence or intimidate the media into silence. The court emphasized that the Constitution protects citizens not only from formal prohibitions but also from subtle forms of government pressures that chill free expression. So next is content-based restriction requires uh, scrutiny. Scrutiny. Because the warnings target the content of speech on specific hello class recordings, the court applied the clear and present danger rule. Under this rule, the government must show that the speech poses an imminent and serious danger to security or the public. The government failed to show any such danger. Speculations or general concern is not enough to justify silencing the press. Next is the anti-rap law is not a valid excuse for censorship. The government argued that airing the violated the anti-rap law, but the court held that if the tapes were obtained illegally, that alone does not allow the government to prevent media from hearing or discussing them, especially when they relate to matters of public concern. So next, broadcast media is strongly protected. The court objected that argument that broadcasters have weaker constitutional rights, while the airwaves are regulated. Content-based restriction can be justified without meeting the clear and present danger standard. Next is the court recognizes the petitioner's legal standing because the case involved a matter of transcendental public importance. So probably the outcome. The court struck down the warnings of the DOJ and NBC. This is just the probably more possible the outcome. And NBC had constitutional prior restraint and granted the petition for uh, prohibition. So the last question is, what are your takeaways from this case? So this case leaves us several powerful lessons, which was first, freedom of speech and freedom of the press occupy the preferred position in our legal system. When the government tries to limit these freedoms, the court will use the highest level of scrutiny. Second, prior restraint is highly disfavored. The court reminds us that in a democracy, government must tolerate criticism, even if the content is embarrassing, politically damaging, or inconvenient. Third, government censorship is not always taken form of written orders. Formal writings, threats, and public statements made by powerful officials can be just as harmful. The court recognized that real-world powers dynamics must be considered. Fourth, the case underscores that the media plays a vital role in holding government officials accountable when allegations of electoral fraud arises. The media must remain free to investigate and inform the public. Fifth, the ruling strengthened the protection of whistleblowing, investigative journalism, and political discouragement. Even if the source of the information obtained is questionable, the public's right to know remains paramount. Lastly, Chavez v. Gonzalez shows the Supreme Court acts as a critical guardian of constitutional rights, especially during periods of political turmoil. It ensures that public officials cannot silence dissent or control the narrative by using their authority to intimidate the media. So again, this is just for school purposes, school project video for being midterms for CPE laws. I think that what I said is just